Let's get into Don't Worry, Darling. Like I said, we went and watched this movie last night. And before I get into my spoiler-free synopsis, I will let Harry Styles explain why he loves the movie so much.
I think when I read it, I think it was, I just loved the story, and the mood board was very tasteful. So I was a big fan of them. I'm a big fan of mood boards.
Oh my God! Wow!
Get up for mood board.
Mood boards.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I love the story. I thought it was very kind of, it says a lot, I think, about, words. More words. But just, society and patriarchy and the whole thing. So it was, I was very happy to be able to...
Yikes. I had to speed through that because if you sat through what was him just trying to find the words to describe a project that he's heavily invested in.
The words escape me to describe what we just listened to.
Oh my gosh. All I have to say is, in the words of Harry Styles, Don't Worry, Darling was a movie. And it felt like a movie. Felt like one of those things that you go to the movie theater to watch.
It feels like a real, go to the theater film movie.
Now, let's actually get into the film and talk about it, because this is going to be a recurring series that we do where we go and watch movies that have a lot of hype behind them. Don't Worry, Darling is one of those. We've seen a lot of drama surrounding this movie. A fight between Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh that possibly happened. Was Shia LaBeouf going to be in the movie? No, he's replaced by Harry Styles. Plus, Olivia Wilde coming out and saying that the movie is heavily inspired by Jordan Peterson, and that she, in fact, based her villain character in the film off of him. So let's get into what I saw and what we all saw yesterday at Don't Worry, Darling. The movie is following a young married couple by the name of Alice and Jack. So Alice and Jack live in this semi-utopic town called Victory. It's a small little town full of little husbands and wives that is actually surrounded by desert. Alice wakes up every day to make breakfast for her beautiful husband, Jack, before he heads out to work. And she lives in a little cul-de-sac where every morning all the wives come out and wave their husbands off to work. Where are they working? Some place called the Victory Project. And are any of the wives aware of what's going on there at that Victory Project? No, it's just a secret that remains a secret until later in the film develops. Now, the movie follows heavily Alice, who is played by Florence Pugh, and her life in Victory, which is seemingly very happy in the beginning, although a series of distorted experiences make her start to question the life that she's leading in this little town. You get run-ins with the owner of the town and sort of the leader of the town. His name is Frank.
I'm curious to hear where she's going with this.
And he has a wife, Shelley, as his beautiful little utopic 1950s patriarchy counterparts, and they run this little town. He's very cult-like. His character is played by Chris Pine, and clearly this is the character that is heavily inspired by Jordan Peterson. So Alice starts to have all these distorted experiences within this world that she's living in, within the town of Victory. She starts to question her place within it, question how she got there, and finds that her memory is a little bit fuzzy. And we follow her through a hero's journey of recognizing where she's at and coming to terms with the situation that she's in. I think that's as far as I can go without giving you spoilers into what she finds in her journey. Now, if you guys love Jordan Peterson and sort of the views that he expresses, or you are fans of traditionalism and maybe gender roles, your male and your female counterparts, this might not be a movie that appreciates your worldview whatsoever. I think if there's one theme throughout this entire movie, it's that patriarchy is ever present and it is something to be fought, and that there is a group of men in the world who want nothing more than to control women. And living a life where your husband goes to work every day and contributes to your life and provides for you can be a very controlling environment for the divine feminine. That seems to be an ever-present idea throughout the film without even getting into spoilers there. What else can I say about this? I think the phrase that I'll use to describe Don't Worry, Darling is a feminist fever dream. Because if you are a young feminist going in to watch this movie, it is probably your worst nightmare playing out for you onto the screen. I think this movie is so far separated from what real women want and are looking for, but it certainly just panders to a lot of the feminist delusions that many young women have in America. And it certainly paints traditional men in a very, very negative light. In pre-interviews about this movie, Olivia Wilde said that it was a heavy commentary on Jordan Peterson. Like I said, the main villain in the movie, Frank, is a clear depiction of Jordan Peterson, as he mentions the term chaos several times throughout the film and trying to instill order in the town that he is living in. So that's a very strong archetype for his character in particular. Olivia Wilde has also been stated that this movie is commentary on the incel community. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with hearing the term incel. For those of you who aren't, involuntarily celibate is what that term means, and it's used to describe sort of a group of young men who are incapable of getting women and maybe are trying, maybe are not trying, but sort of hold a bit of disdain for their female counterparts for not being able to get with them. You have the incels, and then you have the chads, who are these traditional buff men who get women all the time.
It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and then grip her up by the neck.
And the Stacys who love the chads. So this movie has all of those themes very present in it, but more so than anything, I think it's Olivia Wilde's leftist delusion about Jordan Peterson playing out on screen. And anybody who is familiar with his ideas and the ideology, I don't know if I want to even call it ideology, that he espouses, will probably go to this movie and laugh. I think there was multiple times while sitting in the theater that Taylor, Scott, and I both audibly laughed when watching.
Oh yeah, it was very on the nose. It was like the worst thing that you can be is the guy who's listening to podcasts in his basement while watching Jordan Peterson talk to you at night about chaos and order. It's like, it was really like no subtlety at all at the parallel she's trying to make.
Right. I will say, in order to give a little bit of kudos to the film, it is beautifully shot. I cannot knock the cinematography of the film itself. Florence Pugh, as I said before, and as I thought going into the movie, gave a brilliant and strong performance from start to finish. Yep. Larry Styles, much like in his pre-interviews, gave a lackluster... Oh, what did I say?
Larry Styles.
Larry Styles.
Is that his brother?
Larry Styles. That's weird. Harry Styles, sorry for all the Harry stands watching right now, gave a semi-lackluster performance. You know, we went into the drama of, was it going to be Shia LaBeouf? Was it going to be Harry Styles? And I left the movie theater thinking I really wish it was Shia LaBeouf, because he really could have given a more well-rounded view of what this character was meant to be, what his motivations might have been in the movie, and I was disappointed. Also, brilliant performances from a lot of the supporting actors, although you don't get into their stories really at all. They are simply there for, I don't even want to call it plot support. They're just props in the movie, essentially.
Yeah, there's not a lot of development outside of the movie. The camera's on Florence Pugh like 98% of the time in the movie. But what did you think about Chris Pine's performance? Because to me, it looked like this is a good actor who just doesn't want to be here. It's kind of like the same as the vibe you get from watching him on the press tour. It's just like he looks so checked out and disinterested. I kind of got the same vibe of his performance. He was like, he did a good job. It was a convincing job, but it just kind of felt like a prisoner in this movie that he's like, why am I here?
Yep.
Yeah. There was a lot of looking and a lot of talking by him, but more looking than anything, just at different characters, specifically at Florence, and that was about it. And yeah, he looked a little disinterested, and also as though he wasn't fully behind the words that he himself was saying.
Right.
It was strange.
I've got to deliver this Jordan Peterson spin-off speech and try to be convincing in it. It's like, oh gosh.
He didn't do horribly though. I think he gave it a good shot. It was convincing, I guess. But again, his character did not get enough development to really have you care about them. None of the characters were really developed enough to have you care. And I think you leave the movie going, I feel like there's so much more that needs to be explained here, and so much more that they left out. As far as woke scoring, I give the movie a 9.5 out of 10. It was very, very woke. So many feminist motifs throughout the entire film that you almost couldn't run from them. And again, if you are a Jordan Peterson fan, you will recognize the references they're making to him and bust out laughing in the middle of the film. As far as the quality of the film, the storyline, if it had been attributed to anything other than feminism and being anti-patriarchal and all this stuff, had the potential to be a good, psychologically thrilling film, I'll give it like a 7 because I liked it better than Nope, and I don't remember what score I gave Nope. So whatever score I gave Nope, just add like 0.5 onto that. And I think that's where we land on Don't Worry, Darling. If you are a feminist looking for a young woman's anti-patriarchal revenge story, Don't Worry, Darling is the movie for you. Go see it in theaters now.